Oh, Star Wars. You already know. Star Wars movies and shows. You already know. We're doing this. We're doing this. Okay. Let's do it in order. Let's not read ahead. Let's not skip ahead. Let's just go straight into it. Actually, no. Let's do it by release order. Okay. Release of the movies. Okay. The original Star Wars. A tier. Why? Why do I want the original Star Wars in A tier? Actually, no. S tier. No, A tier. A tier. This is going to be incredibly biased to me, but I think it's like a really good movie. It's just a good movie. It's just a good movie in general. Same thing with Empire. Empire is one of the best movies of all time. It is so good. So fucking good. Return of the Jedi, B tier. And those are going to be the only one. These two are going to be here. Those are the only two here. I'm sorry. There's nothing that's going to change here. Nothing is going to change in S and A tier. Nothing. Those three movies, in and of itself, that was the ranking back in 1983 when Return of the Jedi came out. Everybody loved Empire when it came out. It was a good movie. Everyone loved the original Star Wars when it came out. And Return of the Jedi was a little bit less received than the other ones, but just besides the point. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Fucking garbage. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Fucking worse than The Phantom Menace. These two, in particular, are just sad movies to watch. I can't. They're so fucking boring. And then C tier, Revenge of the Sith. I've already pissed off a bunch of Star Wars fans. I feel better about it. Revenge of the Sith is not a good movie compared to the three up here. Let me really just explain it to you in layman's terms. Why? One of the things that George Lucas did with the prequels is he took out so much character development. Like, so much, like, heart-to-heart conversations with characters. There was a scene in Attack of the Clones. There's like a few scenes in Attack of the Clones where Anakin and Padme are hanging out with Padme's parents. Like, Padme's parents are welcoming Anakin into their home, cooking him a full-blown meal, and they're having a heart-to-heart. Padme's dad and Anakin are having a heart-to-heart, being like, is my daughter in danger? And Anakin's like, the senator is taking it a lot less than, than you would expect. She thinks the threat is not as bad as it is. And like, it's very convincing. Very convincing. It shows Hayden Christensen can actually act. One of the things that Hayden Christensen could not do in these movies is act. And it wasn't his fault. He's acted in movies. He's a really good actor. It's just shitty direction. Shitty direction is the bane of movies. And a shitty director will always, always, always mislead a good actor. Every time. Unless that actor is prepared to fight with the director on certain aspects of dialogue and shit, don't expect a good movie. Just don't. The only reason why the first Star Wars movie was so good and it was so well received was because there were times when Harrison Ford was threatening to fucking strap George Lucas to a chair and force him to read the lines of the movie. That's how fucking ridiculous it was. The dialogue was fucking awful. It was so bad. And then people say that the prequels are like a piece of art. And it's like, George Lucas does not know how to write dialogue. George Lucas is a camera director. He is a art director. He is not a film director. He's not an acting director. He is a cinematography and digital mastery director. He has nothing. He has no input on actors. I think he really should have taken a step back. And that's honestly one of the reasons why Empire and Return of the Jedi are so good, because while they didn't have George Lucas directly involved in like directing, he was still involved in like producing. George Lucas would have made an excellent producer. An excellent producer. Just didn't make a good director. So that leads us to The Force Awakens. A little bit worse than Revenge of the Sith. A little bit worse. You know how I said George Lucas would have been an excellent producer? And he's an excellent story writer. They booted him off of Star Wars once Disney purchased Lucasfilm. It's kind of sad too, because if I'm being honest with you, the story treatments he wrote for episodes 7, 8, and 9 probably would have been very good. He had faith that Kathleen Kennedy would take the scripts, put a director on them, and make movies with them. That's not what she did. Completely disregarding George Lucas's work, she hires J.J. Abrams. And no offense to J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams is a fantastic director. I love the stuff he did with Star Trek. He's just too much of a Star Wars fanboy to really be directing a Star Wars movie. I think the reasoning why Star Trek, and we'll do a Star Trek movie tier list after this. The reasoning why he did such a good job with Star Trek was because of the fact that he was not a huge Star Trek fan. He was not a Star Trek fan. But somehow, some way, he understood that Trekkies are very specific about certain things. They're very specific about certain things. And if and when the Star Trek movie did not end up going well, it would have been awful for the fans. Now, when I got into that movie and I came out of it in 2009, Star Trek 2009, I'll explain it. It was just a good movie. It was just a good movie. I did not get that feeling with The Force Awakens. I just didn't. I didn't get that feeling. I did not get that goddamn J.J. Abrams did a good job feeling. It was very disappointing. And he's even gone on record and said it. He's like, if you like the movie, I have no idea what kind of shit you're on. But, goddamn. The Last Jedi. Controversial opinion. Actually, no. It's better than The Force Awakens. Actually, no. I'm moving these two down to D tier. I'm sorry. I'm just moving those down to D tier. The Last Jedi gets a lot of flack. I think it's a better movie than The Force Awakens. Still a bad movie. But, hey, it is what it is. I liked Rose. Not many people did. I liked Rose. I thought Rose was cool. Except for the ending. The ending was kind of eh. But, yeah. Luke sacrificing himself while not being there. Awesome. Exactly how a Jedi should go. I'm sorry. Luke is not supposed to be a broken, overpowered space wizard in Star Wars. He's not. That's lame. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid as shit. Whoever wanted that is dumb. They do not like good writing. They just like problems to be solved instantly. It's not good writing if Luke is just going to sit there and face down the First Order with a lightsaber and just destroy an entire legion of stormtroopers. It's boring. It's formulaic. It's boring. It's so boring. So that's my opinion on The Last Jedi. If you guys wanted to see Luke be a badass, I'm sorry. It wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones that it was not going to happen. I knew Luke was going to be a vastly different character. I knew it. The moment I heard Luke say, it's time for the Jedi to end, I was like, okay, this is it. Luke is going to be a very different character. Very different from what people were expecting. And when people say that Luke would have never done that, you got to keep in mind there was a 30-year time between Return of the Jedi and The Last Jedi. Okay, there was a 30-year gap. A lot can change in 30 years. I'm sorry. If you think that characters stay the same after a certain amount of time, you're dead wrong. You see it in movies all the time. Characters like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones originally did not fucking care about doing the right thing. He never did in the beginning. He thought everything he was a Boy Scout when he was a kid. Then he learned the hard way. Characters change. We didn't see it happen, but characters change. Unfortunately, you guys didn't like how Luke Skywalker changed. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I thought Rian Johnson was setting the stage for something awesome until somebody decided to fucking come up and fuck it up. And his name was J.J. Abrams. Which leads us to Rise of Skywalker. Awful. Very bad movie. I think it's worse than Attack of the Clones. Way worse. Way worse. What's next? Solo? Let's do these. Okay, let's just do this. The Mandalorian. Now, I'm going to separate these things. I'm going to start ranking the shows and spin-offs separately. So, The Mandalorian, A tier. Definitely. New way to watch Star Wars. Awesome. Solo. As good as Return of the Jedi. I said it. Rogue One. As good as A New Hope and The Mandalorian. Yes, I said it. Resistance. Fucking hot garbage. Hot fucking garbage. At the same level as fucking Rise of Skywalker. Star Wars Rebels. About as good as Return of the Jedi. Or Revenge of the Sith. And then Clone Wars. S tier. Without a doubt. That's my tier list for Star Wars. Sorry if I pissed you off, but it's the